My name is Ivan Delgado Velasquez, and I have been at Redeemer for about 3 years. So at Redeemer, I'm part of the Altar Guild. I serve in that ministry regularly, and that has given me good appreciation for what goes behind the scenes as far as preparing elements for the service. And most recently, I've been serving in the vestry as part of the mission board.
I'm Elise Solomon, and I've been a parishioner at Redeemer for about 6 years now. I currently serve on the mission board. I've also done some work with the young adult group, and now I have a 5-year-old son who is participating in the family ministries here.
So, as part of this process, there was a lot of, multiple listening sessions. I participated in several of those, and one thing that caught my eye is the fact that at each listening session, I was with a totally different group of people, and there were a lot of common themes that came up as part of that effort. So I was involved with several of those listening sessions, and then I have been involved with the discussions in the vestry as far as what came out of that process, which was Tim House and Annie Stevens Gleason. They put together very extremely well written document outlining what this process is pointing us to as far as our involvement in missions. And I was involved in the discussions surrounding how we implement that work and eventually roll it out to the congregation. So I have been in the process from the listening sessions and also as part of the discussions within leadership before we roll this out to the congregation.
So I got to be involved in one of the listening sessions as the staff was going through the discernment process about what missions would look like here at Redeemer. The listening session was actually a really interesting experience. We did some icebreakers, so we got to know everybody in the room. We looked at maps of our community and really thought about what community means for Redeemer in its geographical sense, but also what it means just for the people who are around Redeemer physically. And that was a really interesting thing for me to think about as a parishioner who is really involved in one specific area, and to think about the community more broadly, defining what that means for Redeemer, and thinking about Redeemer's place within the community. It was a really interesting experience, and I'm really glad I got to participate in it.
The one thing I'm very excited about is the fact that we are intentionally defining what we mean by mission. So I always tell the people I've been talking to as part of this process that the word mission is very broad, and depending on the context, it can be interpreted in all sorts of ways. But by us adding this layer of focus to mission, that clearly states to the congregation and the world that this is what mission means to us. And I have a very bad memory, but this is the one thing I remember from this process, because we had a meeting earlier this week, and there was a quote in that meeting that said, "Mission is being love to the world around us." So that resonates with me as far as what mission means. I don't want people to think that because we are not reinventing the wheel, and we are not walking away from missions work. We are just defining what that word means to us, and the best definition of what that word means to us is what I just said. Mission is being love to the world around us.
I am really excited about the new name of the missions board and initiatives. Service, justice, and community engagement, I think, is a much better, clearer way to describe the work that we do. Missions often has different connotations associated with it. Maybe one person thinks about it in one way and another in another way. And this is a lot clearer. It also really represents the work that we do just in our own lives as Christians, as people who are part of the Redeemer community. I'm looking forward to seeing how having a clarified vision and focus area can help all of us as parishioners understand our work together better, and how we can continue to propel the message of love and justice and service and community through that work with Redeemer.
My hopes are that we can increase the engagement of people serving as part of our missions work. I have a feeling, especially in a church as big as Redeemer, there may be instances where there are people working with this particular ministry, and there's another sector of the congregation that may not be aware of that opportunity, that serving opportunity. I'm hoping that we can, as part of this process, we can act as a conduit to connect people who are interested in serving with a particular ministry with those who are engaged with that ministry. So I guess my hope is not only increasing engagement as far as numbers, but more so increasing our understanding of what missions work and what ministering love to people around us really means. So serving with intention.
I am looking forward to understanding my role as a parishioner who sits on the missions board, as a community member for our parish, and just understanding how all that works together in the work that we do in our community. I sit on the board of the Madisonville Education and Assistance Center, which is part of my neighborhood, Madisonville, and it ensures that we have food and we can keep food for our neighbors and keeping our neighbors in their homes, as well as providing early literacy resources for our families in the neighborhood. And that is such an important part of how I express my own love of Christ and my role as a church member. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that can fit into this new vision, this new clarified vision for missions at Redeemer. As somebody who sits on the missions board, I have a lot of investment in what's happening here at the church in that regard. And I was really interested to see what was going to happen with the discernment process. Change can be hard. It really can be. But what I really have appreciated is that the staff has been very thoughtful and caring about how they're approaching the changes that we have in front of us. I have a lot of faith and a lot of confidence that this is going to be good, clarifying for us as parishioners of Redeemer. I was worried that Madisonville Education and Assistance Center, which is of course what I love very much, would be tossed out, that we wouldn't care about it anymore, but that's not what's happening. What's happening is that we are finding a new lens through which to look at the work that we do together. And I am looking forward to applying that lens to the work that I do as a parishioner of Redeemer.